The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista. Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
All right, Kat, thanks so much. 5:02 is our time now, and it was inevitable. And now we know the more contagious Omicron variant is spreading in Kern County. Public Health confirmed at least 10 people in Kern tested positive for the variant. New data also shows 324 new cases of the virus overall, but no new deaths. Hospitalizations are slightly up from the day before, but still well below the number during the Delta surge in September and October. State data shows 134 people with more severe symptoms of the virus are being treated in hospitals. 32 more are fighting for their lives in the ICU.
And we're at the beginning of this new surge, and we haven't really recovered from the previous one. Public health officials told county supervisors yesterday the county's struggling to keep pace, and the worst is expected in March. From additional ambulance crews to traveling nurses, the county's calling in reinforcements. 3 state staff strike teams, which include 18 members each, are expected to arrive on Monday and will stay in Kern through the end of February. The Board of Supervisors is also making plans that could include hospitalizing people at the fairgrounds. They say the precautions are necessary because the surge spreads as predicted. Local hospitals won't have enough room.
The state's modeling has indicated we will well exceed our capacity to be able to care for those that need hospitalization. We're seeing a significant number of people who don't have COVID-19 that are gravely ill and need hospitalization as well.
Public Health Director Bryn Kerrigan says of Kern's 1,918 deaths so far, only 11 people who died from the virus were fully vaccinated. Health experts expect unvaccinated to be hit hardest and those who aren't boosted.
Meantime, all eyes are on the CDC today as it weighs booster shots for kids ages 12 to 15. Approval could be a major step for some schools across the nation still struggling to reopen.
President Biden's bracing the nation for cases of the Omicron variant to keep soaring to record highs as he's under pressure to do more to fix the nation's testing system. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Good morning, Maddie and Alex. Amid the Omicron surge, states are pleading for help with testing, and many hospitals are once again overwhelmed and understaffed. President Biden saying bluntly there is no excuse to be unvaccinated.
Today, the CDC poised to approve Pfizer booster shots for children aged 12 to 15. The FDA already signed off, hoping to give schools another tool as they struggle to reopen.
Most districts have been playing like a game of Jenga as far as staff shortages go.
9 states setting records for kids hospitalized with COVID as the U.S. tallied 1 million new cases overall in a single day for the second day in a row.
Right now, we have more COVID patients in the ICU than we ever have since the beginning of this pandemic.
With hospitalizations surging 41% in 2 weeks, President Biden stressing the unvaccinated are bearing the brunt, urging vaccines, boosters, and masks to prevent the Omicron variant's worst effects.
You can still get COVID, but it's highly unlikely, very unlikely that you become seriously ill.
The Biden administration doubling the order of Pfizer's antiviral pills to treat 20 million people, while under intense pressure to improve testing across the country as long lines and shortages persist.
You can't find an at-home rapid test in this area.
Believe me, it's frustrating to me, but we're making improvements.
Amid the testing struggle, the CDC stopping short of requiring retesting at the end of its shortened 5-day isolation period, instead urging those without symptoms to keep wearing masks for another 5 days.
President Biden falling short on an earlier promise to deliver at-home rapid tests to Americans' homes starting now. The White House acknowledging it's still working out the details. In Washington, Alice Barr, 17 News.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and Louis Gill, the former CEO of the Bakersfield Homeless Center, will no longer be running for Congress against Kevin McCarthy. Instead, he's turning his attention to the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Gill says he was keeping an eye on District 3's Mike Maggard, whose decision to retire was the final step in Gill deciding to run for the seat. He says the statewide redistricting process always played a part. The 23rd District, where Gill would have gone up against House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, has been redrawn. stretching into parts of Fresno and Clovis and reaching more likely Republican voters than before. Gill isn't ruling out another swing at a congressional seat, but says right now he's concentrating on the county.
Oh, I don't think that door has closed forever. Well, none of us know the future. But I do know that that is something that I will be paying attention to. But today, the focus is here in Kern County. I want to look at serving this district.
Gill is the first to formally announce his candidacy for the seat Maggard will vacate. For the latest on who's running in November's midterms and where, you can head to our website, kget.com.
Meantime, Republican talk show host Larry Elder announced he will not be running against Gavin Newsom in the state's gubernatorial election. Instead, Elder says he's launched a new political action committee to focus on retaking the U.S. House and Senate for the Republican Party, as well as local elections that affect education and public safety. Elder was one of dozens of candidates to run against Newsom in the 2021 recall election last fall. Newsom defeated the effort to recall him from office with nearly 62% of the vote.
This morning, arson investigators are still trying to find out how a fire tore through a vacant building in downtown Bakersfield. The fire department says they were called to a home at 1st and T Streets just after 7 o'clock last night, and that smoke and flames were showing from the boarded up home when firefighters arrived. A second alarm was called before firefighters were able to put out the flames. No injuries were reported. Neighbors tell 17 News this is the second fire in this location in as many months.
One person's dead following a crash involving a vehicle and a tow truck yesterday afternoon southeast of Bakersfield. It happened just before 1 p.m. on South Edison and Muller Roads east of Weed Patch Highway. CHP says the crash victim was a backseat passenger who was not wearing a seatbelt. The driver of the car was taken to Kern Medical. The passenger was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the tow truck was not hurt. CHP does not suspect that drugs or alcohol were factors in this crash.
A bicyclist was killed by a car yesterday afternoon in downtown Bakersfield. It happened just before 12:30 p.m. yesterday on California Avenue and R Street. Bakersfield police responded to the crash. No word yet on the identity of the person who died or what led up to the crash.
17 Court Watch now. A man shot multiple times by Delano police Sunday did not appear for a scheduled court date yesterday because he's still in the hospital. Eddie Figueroa was involved in a shootout with police on Sunday. A police dog named Axel was also wounded in the shooting, but is said to be recovering at home. More than 30 shots were fired by police in the exchange of gunfire. Figueroa is said to be stable. Meantime, the operators of Cornerstone Bakery, who are close to Canine Axel's handler, are asking the public to donate for a canine care basket for that wounded police dog. They're accepting donations of chew toys and doggy treats at the store located on 19th Street in downtown Bakersfield.
So he loves chew toys, he loves dog beds, and he also chews through those pretty quickly. He loves dog treats, so we just wanted to put together something to kind of help him heal a little bit faster.
The Cornerstone Bakery is open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. during the week and from 8 a.m. to noon on Saturday.
We have some breaking news this morning out of central Bakersfield where a structure fire has prompted a large police response.
Yeah, we want to take you live to the scene this morning. 17's Chris Burton arrived just a few minutes ago. He's been gathering information about what is going on over on Verde Street. Chris, good morning.
Maddie, good morning. Bakersfield fire officials just confirmed to me a few minutes ago that there has been one fatality from the structure fire here on Verde Street. Indications are that it broke out just after 4:30 a.m. this morning at an abandoned house here on Verde Street. We're actually right across from Roosevelt Elementary School, and when fire crews got here, they extinguished the blaze fairly quickly, entered the structure, and that's when they located the deceased subject. Now, no information on that subject is available at this time. We hope to maybe have some identifying characteristics later on, coming sometime. But what I can tell you is that there is a large Bakersfield Fire and Bakersfield Police Department presence here. Arson investigators are on the scene, which is somewhat of a standard practice here in structure fires. And that's about all we know at this time. The flames are out, as you can see behind me. It's this house about 3 down to my right. But again, we don't know a whole lot at this time other than the fact that one person was killed in this blaze. We hope to have more information for you soon, but until then, live in Bakersfield, Chris Burton, 17 News.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. 5:35 is our time now, and in your 17 Health Watch this morning, a rise in cases of influenza is fueling concern about what could happen if people get a double whammy of flu and the coronavirus.
The condition even has an unscientific name, flu-rona, but by any name, it's a concern for health officials. Mary Beth McDade from our sister station in Los Angeles has more.
Israel has confirmed its first so-called case of flu-rona.
I think a lot of people got confused and thought that was yet another variant of the coronavirus of COVID, but that's really not the case. It's just refers to flu and corona, so flu-rona.
Israeli officials say an unvaccinated pregnant woman came down with a dual infection and is now said to be in good condition.
It is possible to get flu and COVID at the same time. It's pretty rare right now. We don't see a ton of those cases.
Dr. David Bronstein, a pediatric infectious disease specialist at Kaiser Permanente, says last year in the U.S., we only had a few scattered cases of flu-rona, dubbed here as the twindemic. But he says this year might be different because we're seeing a lot more cases of the flu.
We are seeing cases of flu already in LA County, and each week those numbers are rising. Now that there's a lot of COVID going around, but also a lot of flu that's starting to go around, it's very reasonable to think that we're going to start seeing lots of these co-infections.
He says it's unclear how sick people will get from flu-rona.
In fact, we're very worried that having both of these viruses at the same time may overwhelm the immune system.
He tells us the best defense is to get vaccinated for both.
You can actually get your COVID vaccine and your flu vaccine at the same time.
That was Mary Beth McDade reporting.
5:37 is our time now, and our nation is in the midst of a blood shortage. Officials are calling desperate, worsened by the ongoing pandemic.
Here at home, our local blood banks continue to be taxed, but they're inviting the community to make a resolution to end the shortage. The American Red Cross, one of our largest and most recognizable blood collectors, is pleading with the public to donate, saying stores have reached historically low levels. Here at home, after months of publicity and drives, supply also remains short.
To spur more donors, Houchin is holding a new contest offering a free Peloton exercise bike for one lucky winner. The bike was provided by Kern Family Healthcare. Anyone who donates this month is eligible, and you can enter multiple times by donating again, as you can donate platelets every 7 days. As always, to donate, register at hcbb.com. Not a bad price.
No, not at all. I have one of those at home, and I quite enjoy it.
I know you enjoy that.
But it's so easy to donate. You know, you're in and out really quickly. The chairs are really comfy, and hey, they give you a snack after too.
Can we just say, regardless of the price, you're saving lives when you do this.
Exactly.
That should be an incentive enough.
And it really is easier and faster than you are probably thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. So just think about that. If you want to make a difference today, if you want to do something that can literally save lives, you can save a minimum of 3 by just donating a pint of blood.
It's pretty incredible.
Yep.
Welcome back here at 547. In education news now, Bakersfield College will hold a one-day virtual express enrollment event for new and returning students today from noon to 5 p.m. Participants can receive help while enrolling for the spring semester, applying for financial aid, or designing an educational plan. Counselors and support staff will also be available to assist students with placement and registering for the right classes that fit their need and schedule.
Grad Night is returning to Disney California Adventure this year. This comes after coronavirus concerns forced the Anaheim theme park to cancel back-to-back years of the graduation celebrations. It had been an annual high school senior tradition for decades. Grad Night 2022 celebrations will take place on 16 dates in May and June. Ticket prices range from $89 to $179. Did you do a grad night?
Yeah, I remember going to Disneyland.
Oh, it was Disneyland?
Yeah,
we did Magic Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun.
I feel like we did Magic Mountain for like 8th grade, maybe.
I did that too.
Okay, and then you did it again for. Oh, that's funny. No, yeah, I remember going to Disneyland. You go like at night, and you're there overnight.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun because they have like the dance stages that you can, be part of and everything.
Gosh, it's such a blur now. It's so long ago.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.